Welcome back to the deep dive. We have a really fascinating set of sources today. We're tackling something that feels incredibly urgent.
It really does.
We are opening the modern-day Pandora's box. Artificial intelligence in the workplace.
It really is the topic of the moment, isn't it? But what's so interesting about the research we've pulled for today from MIT, IBM, McKinsey, Stanford, is that, well, they aren't focusing on the code itself.
Yeah.
They're talking about the psychology of the people deploying the code.
Right. And the whole premise here is that while AI promises this magic wand for productivity, efficiency, revelation, profit, if you don't handle it right, it brings chaos.
Well, chaos is putting it lightly.
Yeah.
We are seeing major operational failures because organizations are just rushing in without any kind of roadmap.
And to navigate that chaos, we are looking at a framework that I think is just brilliant in its simplicity.
I agree.
It's titled The 7 Deadly Sins of AI in the Workplace.
Now, before anyone hits pause, we aren't getting into theology here. This isn't a sermon.
Not at all.
It's a heuristic, a mental model to categorize the 7 most critical, most frequent errors organizations make when they rush to adopt these tools.
It's just a way to map the failure modes. And our goal for this deep dive is to take you, the listener, from potentially committing these digital sins to becoming what the source material calls an AI virtuoso.
Which is a great title. It implies skill and artistry, not just technical know-how.
It does. So let's set the stage. We have reports here from the MIT, IBM Watson AI Lab, McKinsey, Stanford, Gartner. I mean, this is heavy-hitting evidence-based stuff. We aren't just speculating.
Exactly. We're looking at why projects fail, and the data is surprisingly clear. And then we're looking at the redemption. How do you fix it?
So let's jump right in. Sin number 1, the big one. Pride, or soberbia.
Pride, in this specific context, is the belief that the AI is infallible. It's this really dangerous assumption that the machine is fully autonomous, that it knows best, and that it frankly doesn't need our help.
I feel like this is the trap everyone falls into first. You see a large language model write a poem or some Python code in seconds, and your brain just goes, wow, it's a genius.
Yes.
It's smarter than me.
It's the black box effect.
Okay.
Because we don't see the mechanism, we assume it's magic.
Yeah.
But let's look at the evidence. There was a pivotal 2021 study by the MIT, IBM, Watson AI Lab that really punctured this balloon.
Okay.
They found that even the most advanced models have significant hard limits when it comes to contextual understanding.
Contextual understanding is the key phrase there. Can we break that down? Like, what is the machine actually missing?
Well, the AI processes data. It doesn't understand the world. It can parse syntax, the structure of a sentence, but it often misses the semantics, the actual meaning behind the words.
Right.
And because of that, if you let it run fully autonomously, it will just perpetuate existing biases or errors found in that data without a second thought.
So if your historical hiring data showed a preference for a certain demographic just because that's who applied in the past, the AI, acting out of our pride in it, will just automate that pattern at scale.
Precisely. It scales our blind spots. It doesn't have the judgment to say, wait, this pattern doesn't make sense in 2024.
So what is the redemption? How do we fix pride?
The shift needs to be from autonomous AI to AI-assisted. The industry term for this is human in the loop.
Human in the loop. I see this term everywhere in the tech press, but what does it actually look like in practice? Is it just someone double-checking the work?
It's more of a partnership. Think about medical diagnostics.
Yeah.
This is the classic example the source uses. An AI might analyze an X-ray. It's incredible at spotting patterns, pixel by pixel, that a human eye might miss.
Okay.
It suggests a diagnosis based on millions of previous images. That's the assist.
Right. It handles the volume.
But the specialist, the human doctor, looks at the patient history. They know the patient is stressed or has a family history that isn't in the chart or that there's a flu going around. They add the nuance.
They add the context.
Exactly. The human makes the final decision.
So the AI is the super smart analyst, but the human is the decision maker.
Correct. Humility is the antidote to pride here. Acknowledging that the tool has limits is the first step to actually extracting value from it. If you leave the loop, you lose control.
Okay, moving down the list. Sin number 2, greed, avaricia. This one feels like it hits the corporate world pretty hard.
It's arguably the most common driver for bad implementation. This is the error of viewing AI exclusively as a cheap shortcut.
Right, the executive who looks at AI and sees nothing but dollar signs, we can fire the support team and just run a chatbot.
Exactly that. They want to cut costs by slashing headcount or speeding up processes, and they view ethics or quality assurance as expensive extras.
They just see the subscription cost of the AI and think that's the only cost.
Yes, but the research says this backfires spectacularly. There's research from McKinsey in 2023 that alerts us that this approach actually increases risks, both operational and reputational.
Okay, explain the mechanism there. How does spending less end up costing you more?
Well, if you cut investment in training, meaning you don't teach your people how to prompt correctly or how to spot hallucinations,
Right.
and you cut governance, meaning nobody is watching what the AI is outputting, you end up with a system that just creates errors at scale.
And then you have to pay humans to clean up the mess.
Or worse, you pay in reputation. Imagine a customer service bot that promises a refund policy you don't actually have or gives incorrect safety advice.
Ooh.
The cleanup cost dwarfs the initial savings. I mean, we've seen real-world cases where companies had to honor discounts the AI hallucinated.
That sounds incredibly painful for the finance department. So the redemption is shifting the mindset from bargain bin to strategic investment.
You have to budget for the human side of the equation. It's not just buying the software license, that's the cheap part. You have to budget for team training and specifically for ethical audits to catch those risks before they go public.
I love that distinction. Don't just buy the tech, invest in the people who run the tech. Okay, next up, sin number 3, lust, luxuria.
In the tech world, we call this shiny object syndrome.
I am definitely guilty of this on a personal level. New app, download it. I don't even know what it does yet, but I want it.
We all are.
Yeah.
But in a business context, lust is adopting AI purely for the fashion or the hype, without having a clear problem you're actually trying to solve.
You just want the sexy new tech so you can say you have it.
You want to put AI powered in your press release so investors get excited.
Exactly. But is this really that damaging?
Well, Gartner released a statistic in 2022 that is just staggering. Nearly 40% of AI projects fail.
40%. That is a massive failure rate for enterprise technology. Usually you'd expect maybe 10 or 15%.
And the primary reason, a lack of alignment with specific business needs. They bought the hammer, the really expensive high-tech hammer, but they didn't have any nails.
So they spent 6 months implementing a solution for a problem that didn't even exist.
And frustrated their teams in the process. Employees get annoyed when they're forced to use a new tool that doesn't actually help them do their job better.
So how do we cool down this lust for new tech? What's the redemption?
You have to flip the script. The redemption is using methodologies like design thinking. The leader needs to stop asking, what AI should we buy? And start asking, what process hurts?
What process hurts? That's a great grounding question. Start with the pain.
Exactly. Identify the bottleneck, the frustration, the inefficiency. Then, and only then, look to see if AI can help solve it. If you start with the technology, you're just searching for a problem, and that rarely ends well.
It's like buying a Ferrari to go grocery shopping when you live next door to the market.
Perfect analogy.
Cool car, totally wrong use case.
And a very expensive grocery run where you can't even fit the bags in the trunk.
Okay, let's move to sin number 4, wrath, ira. This one conjures up images of smashing keyboards, which I think we've all wanted to do with computers.
It's definitely related to that frustration. Wrath, in this framework, is blaming the AI for errors that are, in reality, the result of human design.
Oh, the classic, the computer made a mistake excuse.
Right. But we have to remember a fundamental principle of computer science. Garbage in, garbage out.
If you feed it bad data, you get bad results.
Precisely. But it goes deeper than just bad data. There is a fantastic quote in our sources from Kate Crawford, the author of Atlas of AI.
What's the quote?
She says, AI is a mirror of our choices.
Wow, that's deep. AI is a mirror. So if the AI is acting up or being biased or giving wrong answers, it's reflecting us.
It's reflecting the data we chose to train it on, the parameters we set, the objectives we defined. If an AI recruiting tool favors a certain type of candidate, it's usually because it was trained on 10 years of resumes where that type of candidate was predominantly hired.
So the AI isn't making a moral judgment.
No, the AI is a mirror of the history we fed it.
That is a tough pill to swallow. So Wrath getting mad at the bot is really just displacing blame.
It's a deflection of accountability. The redemption for Wrath is responsibility.
So stop yelling at the cloud and start fixing your data.
Correct. The burden of quality lies with the human. You need to create quality protocols for your data and conduct rigorous testing before you roll something out. You can't just unleash it and then act surprised when it reflects your own data back at you.
It's a lot easier to blame the algorithm than to admit you organized your spreadsheet wrong.
Much easier, but much less productive. If you blame the machine, you'll never fix the root cause, which is usually the data pipeline.
Okay, we are more than halfway through our list of sins. Sin number 5, gluttony, gula.
This connects right back to what we just discussed about data quality. Gluttony is the error of feeding the AI massive amounts of data without criteria, without curation, and especially without privacy concerns.
Just vacuuming up everything you can find and shoving it into the model, the old big data mentality from the 2010s.
Exactly. We spent a decade being told data is the new oil and more is better. But in the context of AI, more is better is a dangerous myth. And the regulatory landscape is catching up to this fast. We have the GDPR in Europe, the Emerging AI Act.
And we've seen companies get in real trouble for this, haven't we?
Absolutely. The source specifically mentions Clearview AI as a cautionary tale.
Remind the listeners what happened there.
Well, they scraped billions of images from the web social media, public forums, to build a facial recognition engine. They acted like gluttons. They just took everything available. And they have faced massive fines and legal challenges across multiple countries because of how they handle that data.
So the redemption is a diet.
In a way, yes. The concept is privacy by design and just good data governance. The expert view here is that less can be more.
Quality over quantity again.
Curated, relevant data is infinitely superior to high-volume, indiscriminate data. You need to know where the data came from, if you got it legally, and if it's actually relevant to what you're trying to do.
It's like cooking. You want the best ingredients, not just all the ingredients in the pantry thrown into the pot.
Perfect. If you build your AI on stolen or messy data, the foundation is just rotten. You're building on quicksand. The moment a regulation changes or a lawsuit hits, your entire model could be invalidated.
Got it. Don't be a data glutton. Moving on to sin number 6, envy. NVIDIA.
This is a subtle one, but it's very damaging. Envy is seeing what another company, maybe a competitor, maybe a tech giant like Google is doing with AI, and trying to copy it exactly without considering your own context.
Google is doing this, so we should do it too, even though we sell cupcakes.
Exactly. And the evidence shows this is a terrible strategy. There is research by Bresnahan and Greenstein from 2023, cited in our source. They looked at the direct transfer of AI solutions between industries.
And what did they find?
The success rate is less than 30%.
Wow. So copying your neighbor's homework fails 70% of the time.
Because your neighbor has a different teacher, a different subject, and a different handwriting. Every organization has a unique culture, unique legacy systems, unique data.
It's like trying to do an organ transplant without checking blood types.
That's a vivid way to put it, and it's accurate. Rejection is almost guaranteed. If you drop a sophisticated AI tool into a company culture that isn't ready for it, the organ will be rejected. The staff won't use it or it won't integrate.
So what's the redemption? I'm guessing it involves looking inward.
It's adaptation over blind adoption. You can look at what others are doing for inspiration, sure, but you have to customize the solution. Run scalable pilots within your own team. See if it actually fits your workflow.
Customize, don't copy. That makes a ton of sense. It's about being authentic to your own business needs rather than envious of someone else's press coverage.
And realizing that what works for a trillion-dollar tech company with 10,000 engineers might not work for a mid-sized logistics firm with 3 IT guys. You have to play your own game.
All right, we have arrived at the final sin. Sin number 7, sloth. Pereza.
This is the set it and forget it mentality. It's the belief that once you deploy the AI, the work is done. You automate a process, hit run, and then you go take a nap.
I mean, isn't that the dream? Passive income, passive productivity.
It's a very dangerous dream. The Algorithmic Justice League, a really important organization in this space, pointed out in 2023 that unmonitored automation can scale injustice. But even from a purely technical standpoint, there's a concept called model drift.
Model drift? That sounds like a car sliding off the road.
That's a good visualization. Over time, the data in the real world changes. Customer behaviors change, language evolves, markets shift. But the AI model is frozen in time, trained on historical data.
So if I train a model on purchasing data from 2019, it doesn't know about the pandemic, inflation, or new trends.
Exactly. It performs to grades. It drifts away from reality. If you are slothful, if you aren't paying attention, you won't notice that your smart AI has gradually become very, very stupid.
So the AI that was a genius in January might be obsolete by December if you ignore it.
Precisely. So the redemption for sloth is continuous improvement.
You have to keep showing up.
AI requires active maintenance. You need to establish KPIs, both technical ones, like is it accurate, and ethical ones, like is it fair?
Yeah.
You need periodic reviews. You have to treat it like a garden, not a statue.
Oh, I like that.
You don't just build it and walk away. You have to tend to it, prune it, water it.
I really like that gardening metaphor. It implies a living system. So just to recap, if we avoid these 7 sins, pride, greed, lust, wrath, gluttony, envy, and sloth, we're in the clear.
Well, we're on the path to righteousness, at least.
Yeah.
But the source material brings this all together with a synthesis that I think is really powerful. It quotes the 2023 State of AI report from Stanford.
What's the insight there?
The success of AI depends less on the algorithm and more on the human ecosystem that surrounds it.
That really is the theme of this whole deep dive, isn't it? It's about the humans, not the bots.
It is. The algorithm is just math. It's calculus and statistics. The success comes from the governance, the training, the strategy that humans wrap around that math.
The source also mentions 3 specific challenges we need to keep an eye on moving forward. What are those hurdles?
The first is regulatory. We mentioned the EU AI Act. The laws are evolving so fast, keeping up with compliance isn't going to be a nice to have, it's going to be a full-time job.
Right, the Wild West era of AI is coming to a close.
Exactly. Second is skills. And this isn't just about hiring more data scientists, it's about developing AI literacy across all levels of a company. Marketing, HR, legal, everyone needs to understand the basics.
We all need to speak the language. You can't just leave it to the IT department.
And third is ethical. The recommendation is to establish multidisciplinary ethics committees.
That sounds fancy. What does that actually mean?
It simply means you don't just have engineers deciding what is right or safe. You bring in sociologists, ethicists, community representatives. You get diverse perspectives in the room to challenge the assumptions of the model.
That brings us to the end of our source material, but I want to circle back to the listener. We promised a way to redeem themselves.
We did. The big takeaway here is that you don't need to be a coding genius to use AI well. You need 3 things: critical humility, knowing the limits, strategic vision aligning with human goals, and responsibility.
And we have a little challenge for you, the listener, a mental audit.
Right. Look at your work week. Pick one process where you are using AI or thinking about using it, and ask yourself, which sin might I be committing here? Am I being greedy and trying to do this too cheap? Am I being slothful and ignoring the drift?
And then ask, how can I redeem it? How can I put the human back in the loop?
It's a simple exercise, but it can save you a lot of pain and money down the road.
It really is fascinating. We started with Pandora's box, and we're ending with a call to be more human.
That's the paradox, isn't it? The smartest technology isn't the kind that replaces us. It's the kind that makes us more human, not less. It frees us from the drudgery so we can focus on the empathy, the strategy, and the creativity.
I love that. Use the machine to be better humans. Thank you so much for walking us through this. It's given me a lot to think about.
My pleasure. It's a conversation we all need to be having.
Absolutely. And for everyone listening, good luck with your audit. Don't let the sins get you.
Stay virtuous.
Before we go, here is one final thought to chew on. We talked about AI mirroring our choices. If AI is a mirror, and we don't like what we see in the reflection, do we try to smash the mirror? Or do we finally change the face we're presenting to it? Something to think about. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Catch you next time.